violent students who use everything from their fists to furniture to attack teachers.
Turns out it happens more than you might think, and 13 News reporter Karen Hopkins is here this morning with a preview of her special report. It will air tonight. And Karen, you've uncovered some horrible cases of violence in our local schools.
That's right, Vanessa. I had a Virginia Beach teacher tell me that an 8-year-old kid broke her cheekbone.
Ooh.
8 years old. Ooh. That's right. And a Newport News teacher says a kid broke her ribs. But we want to tell you now about Linda Fairman. You can see her here. She was a Newport News teacher when she says 2 8th grade girls jumped her. But you don't get to hear these stories often. Teachers tell me they're afraid to talk about what's happening to them. They fear they'll lose their jobs because budgets are so tight recently. But we did find a couple teachers who would share their stories.
So I asked the student, "Where are you going?" And the student just cussed back at me and said, "I can do whatever I want."
Without any warning, they both stood up out of their desks. The one behind me grabbed my belt, held me, used me as a shield. I got punched in the stomach, kicked in the back, and thrown against the desks.
Now, coming up in my special report tonight at 5 and 6, we uncovered why local schools want to keep these attacks hush-hush and which school district has the biggest problem with students going after teachers.
Wow, how often does something like this happen?
LaSalle, it happens more than you hear about it. Last school year alone, students attacked or threatened more than 700 Hampton Roads teachers. 700.
All right, that special report is tonight?
That's right.
5 and 6, right?
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I have seen Karen working on this story in the newsroom, and you've done a lot of legwork, and looking forward to seeing this.
Really hard to get teachers to speak up.
We'll certainly have to tune in and see the full report. Thank you for coming in so early this morning.
My pleasure.
Shoved on a desk, even punched. Students accused of some shocking violence against their teachers.
Hundreds of teachers are hurt each year, yet less than 1% of students get in trouble for it. Breaking down the numbers, 13 News has learned Hampton has the highest percentage of kids going after teachers. 13 News reporter Karen Hopkins joins us now. And Karen, the belief here is that more attacks essentially go unreported.
That's right, David, but teachers tell me that they're told not to report it by administrators, but we did find a couple teachers who weren't afraid.
And you try not to put yourself in that situation again, but it still hurts.
Linda Fairman gets emotional.
I hope no one ever has to go through this like I did.
As a Newport News teacher, 2 8th grade girls slammed her into a desk.
I got hit hard enough in the stomach that I lost continence, so it was embarrassing. And then my back was hit hard enough that the pain never went away.
At that point, I just stood there with hands back.
David Schutte says middle school students pushed him around twice.
She was coming up, she was hitting against me.
You might not expect it, but their stories are one of many.
It's a shame, but it happens.
Last year alone, students threatened or attacked more than 700 Hampton Roads teachers, but few have the courage to speak up.
It ain't just about fighting. They're afraid to tell me things.
Federation of Teachers President Thomas Calhoun.
You're going to do nothing, and I mean nothing, to jeopardize your job if you got one. End of story. End of story.
Even Schutte's worried this story could get him fired. That's why we're not mentioning his school.
I don't know how my school will take me talking about this issue.
If a school has too many attacks, the state stamps it a persistently dangerous school. Students are allowed to leave to attend a safe school, but it's up to principals to report the attacks.
They don't want to be deemed a principal who doesn't know how to manage and how to keep the classroom safe. So unfortunately, too many of them look the other way.
I'm embarrassed. I am unhappy.
Norfolk School Board member Stephen Tonelson.
Unless we talk about what's going on, we can never make it better.
The problem could become worse. With budget cuts, some classes are adding in 11 more students.
The more students you have in the classroom, the more chance of behavior problem.
And just one attack can affect education for all students.
I didn't even want to be anywhere near the student.
Fairman and Schutte agree the toughest part is seeing their attackers back at school.
You see the same students who, pushed you around, and you find that the teachers really have no power.
I looked at her and said, I'm not welcoming them back, and I walked out of her office.
She ended up leaving teaching and starting tutoring instead, but she wants you to hear this message.
Everyone said, oh, well, that was an unusual occurrence. Obviously something happened. I was like, no, it's not unusual. No one wanted this story to get out.
The story finally out tonight, David and Regina, and now that her story is out, I'm hearing from even more teachers. They're telling me, I've been attacked too, and we put all of that on our Facebook page so you can read it.
Excellent coverage here. Karen, this persistently dangerous term, have you found that any schools in our area were labeled as persistently dangerous?
That's right, no schools have that label, so either they're not reporting it or maybe they are, but...
Reports in all school districts?
In all school districts, yes.
All right.
So
wow.
all schools are safe, so they say.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.